I'm here early this morning. Good morning, Sandy. Good morning, Michelle. How you doing? So go outside. I'll give you a second. Okay, I'm not going to wait that long. You need to go outside though and see what it feels like. It's incredible, and you can see here at Leesville where we're kind of out there in the trees and all that. Cooled down a little more, 51 degrees. Dew point's 49. I went out to take the trash out, and I was like, oh, it's kind of chilly out here. Feels great. Dew points in the 40s, temps in the low 50s. It is refreshing. It is amazing. I am so excited. And 58 in Alexandria, we can deal with that as well. Dew point's 49. Now, talking about Leesville, I'm actually going to stop by and meet a very special individual on my way to College Station, Radio the Cat. If you're familiar with today's Country 105.7, you know what I'm talking about here. So I'm going to meet the people too, but the cat, that's the important thing. Clear skies this morning. You can't imagine what's going on just several hundred miles to the southeast, but we have a Category 4 hurricane. Hurricane Milton continues to impress. And when it's over the ocean like that, that's a different story than what we're going to see here in Tampa. We can actually look at that and say, my goodness, meteorologically, this is an incredible sight to behold. But this is going to create some major problems across the western coast of Florida and beyond. I think really the whole Florida peninsula is going to see issues from this. Here today, low 80s, lots of sunshine. I can't tell you how beautiful it's going to be. It's going to be perfect out there. And Futurecast, I mean, it's just good. So you hit the button, you can't even see anything happening really because there's no cloud cover apart from maybe a couple out there around Pensacola and Mobile Bay. So that's it for that. Now we look into the severe threat. Yes, we'll start to get a marginal risk for severe weather south of that potential path there south of Tampa toward Miami, maybe some isolated tornadoes starting to spin up with that. And here we go now into the meat of things here. Major Hurricane Milton. This is a Category 4 storm. It went up to Category 5 status last night. We had pressure down to, I think it was 897, which is 2 millibars higher than what we saw in Hurricane Rita. So that's the second strongest system in the Gulf in recorded history. Sixth strongest from what I'm seeing. I believe it's a tie for sixth in the Atlantic Basin. So either way, I mean, we're talking top 10 strongest ever right here with Milton in the Atlantic Basin, and this storm continues to impress even through an eye wall replacement cycle here, 145 mile per hour winds. Hopefully we take these opportunities to, hopefully what happens is that dry air and stuff, it starts kind of getting into the system as we're going through an eye wall replacement cycle, and that wind field expands out, weakens, and we see that. But I just, in a total moment of weather nerdery last night, I went in and was looking at the pressure readings as they went into the eye, and they couldn't even really hit the eye directly because it was so small and it was so chaotic, I'm guessing, in the midst of flying in 200 mile per hour winds. But so the pressure gradient, how far it dropped over a short distance, the pressure dropped 66 millibars over 7 miles. In a tornado that's, let's say a mile wide, typically you get about 100 millibar drop over that 1 mile range. So just to put that in perspective, we don't usually see that in hurricanes. It wasn't like a tornado, but it wasn't terribly far off. And with maximum sustained winds at 180 miles per hour, yes, there are different processes at play here, but it was a really insane thing to watch. And it unfortunately is going to come in around Tampa Bay. And the question is, does this come in north or south? And that's going to bring a big change in impact. If this thing goes in over or just north of Tampa, we're going to see massive storm surge flooding into Tampa Bay. That's going to be really, we saw about 7 feet with Helene. We could see 15 if this happens. If it goes just south, that's going to keep them more in that offshore wind, and we're going to see a surge still, but it's not going to be nearly as strong. Anyway, you look at it, though, somebody on this southern flank is going to see a big storm surge, and then on the backside, we're going to get that surge coming in on the north side in the Atlantic beaches there for South Carolina, Georgia, and northern Florida. So Category 3, roughly, at landfall is what we're looking like. Here is the path of the hurricane winds that we're forecasting, or the NHC is forecasting. You can see this is getting up toward Tampa, 50-60% chance to see hurricane force winds, and you're like, well, that's not that bad. Well, it's more just narrowing down that exact forecast on this. Someone's going to see hurricane force winds along the coast, so it's going to be somewhere between Tampa down to Bradenton, maybe Fort Myers, Cape Coral, but it's also going to hold together. I think they're going to see big power outages across Orlando, out toward Daytona Beach, Cocoa Beach, those areas on the eastern coast, St. Augustine, Port St. Lucie could see some pretty big winds with this. And here is your forecast. And the reason I show you this, these are the spaghetti models. Again, it's just like one big piece of fettuccine right now because this is aiming right at Tampa. There is such agreement with this. Now, it unfortunately looks like the official forecast is kind of leaning just on the southern end of guidance. So hopefully they don't have to adjust that further north, because if that happens, that puts Tampa in harm's way even more than they would be with a hit just to the south. Rain now, 10 to 15 inches. Excessive rainfall is very likely right across the middle of the peninsula of Florida. Again, Tampa to Orlando to Daytona Beach is looking like the hot spot. And storm surge, yes, it's obvious. We're going to see big storm surge on the west coast of Florida, along and south of that path. Even north of that path, we could still see 5, 6, 8 feet of storm surge, I think, up in these regions, just north of Tampa. And then when this thing comes out on the other side, we get that dirty side on the north side of the storm as that circulation it pinwheels back, and we get that flooding in the coastal areas of South Carolina, Georgia, and anywhere north of that center where it crosses out there from Sebastian Inlet northward, about 2 to 4 feet. Some areas could see up to 5 feet up here around Jacksonville, Savannah, St. Simon's Island, that area. Okay, and then our 7-day looks like this. Sunny skies, low to mid-80s, maybe some upper 80s. No real humidity to speak of. We're looking at lows in the mid-50s to near 60. In some areas, like we saw in Leesville at 51, I wouldn't be stunned if in the next couple of nights we saw some areas dip into the upper 40s, which is just amazing stuff. So our 7-day forecast looks good. Our 8 to 14 day outlook looks dry. I still don't see anything that's really jumping off the page saying, hey, we got a storm system coming this way. And as we head into secondary severe season here, I guess that's good, but at some point we're going to need some rainfall. Cooler temperatures to the east. This has kind of been the pattern lately. We will be in the low to mid 80s, it looks like, probably generally, and then lows in the 50s from the 16th to the 22nd. So enjoy the cooler stuff today. And again, you can go, I'm obviously working with the United Cajun Navy now. You can go to their social media, find out ways you can help, because they're going to be trying to continue the relief efforts up in North Carolina and Georgia and Tennessee, all these places that have been hit by Helene, and then also going to be fighting another battle down there across Florida as this comes across. But yeah, crazy stuff going on just to the southeast, and just couldn't put out a better 7-day forecast for our area. So I am heading out of town, going. Lily Miculus is getting her Aggie ring, which is like what you get. You wear them after you graduate, but after 90 hours in college, I can't believe she's already done that. Then you get your ring. So we're going for a big family celebration out there. I'm still going to bring the mobile setup because we'll be talking Milton and all that stuff. But yeah, so that's why I'm here early today. I'll see you back here tomorrow morning, provided the internet is working well, and I think it'll be all right. Okay, guys, have a great Tuesday. I'll see you back here tomorrow.